Hello and welcome. I am Nancy and you are watching News Today. It's time for headlines. US Professor Lauren Gardner has won a top science award for creating the Johns Hopkins COVID-19 dashboard, a project that tracked and mapped the outbreak of the virus across the world in the earliest days of the pandemic. Gardner, an associate professor of civil and systems engineering at Johns Hopkins University, was named the recipient of the 2022 Lasker-Bloomberg Public Service Award on Wednesday for creating the tracker, described by the US-based Lasker Foundation as a trailblazing resource that lit a path toward informed policy guidelines and personal choices amidst a morass of misinformation as the world grappled with the emerging disease. Gardner, who studies disease transmission modeling, had met with graduate student in Shandong on January 21, 2020, just weeks after the first coronavirus cases were detected in Wuhan, China. While the pair were meant to discuss vaccine hesitancy and measles, Dong mentioned he was also tracking emerging cases of COVID-19 infections in China. The next day, the duo launched an early prototype mapping the number of confirmed COVID-19 cases. At the time, just 322 infections had spread across East Asia. Gardner announced the new tool in a tweet on January 22, 2020, writing, "We are tracking the 2019 nCoV spread in real time. Cases and locations can be viewed here, data available for download." To date, the tracker has recorded more than 616 million COVID cases worldwide, at least 6.5 million deaths, and about 9 billion vaccine doses administered. That data and her team's expert analysis helped arm policymakers, the medical community, news media, and citizens with information to track the pandemic and combat its spread, Johns Hopkins University wrote in a post on its website. The university added Gardner's team further used the information to study how behaviors in the hardest-hit areas across the U.S. affected the early trajectory of the outbreak, which was declared a pandemic by the World Health Organization on March 11, 2020. Earlier this month, the head of the UNBODY, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, announced an end to the pandemic was finally in sight.